You have to understand, and this is just like, we're getting pretty heady here. If your only thing in life is the health of your family, you're pretty happy a lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can get really sad. You know, like if I get a text right now that my sister's in a car accident, things are really bad, I'm shut out in a way that you could, like, I don't know if I ever come back. I don't come back until that's resolved. So, you know, it's really easy for me to shut off or shut on or not. Like, when you were as binary as the health and well-being of my family, comma, nothing else, then all the way over here, the Jets and then business, like.
I love that this is after the Jets, by the way.
You know, it's really easy to be happy, and I do challenge everybody to start really building perspective.
Yeah.
You know, we really struggle with it. We lived during the greatest era of the greatest empire of human race. If a white American male who does not realize that they have won the ultimate lottery of the universe,
Being alive.
in America during its greatest era as an empire, then I've got nothing for them. Like genuinely, if I became the dictator of America, I would make it a life sentence in jail for a white American male to complain at all.
Yeah. That would be an
Historically, and this is more old school, I used to always talk about what's the ROI of your mother. Everybody wants to measure everything. How do I can tell you that I will literally buy a multi-billion-dollar sports organization one day in my life in 30 years, and the complete ROI is the way my parents parented me. I can't quantify it. I can't show you a chart that on May 16th, when I got this shitty haircut, my mom still said I was the best looking boy on earth. Like, I can't give you that data point, but I know it happened and I know what it did for me, right? So, you know, I can't show you in a chart that, oh, on April 13th, 1986, I opened the door for a woman at McDonald's. This is a true story, not the date. But I opened the door for an elderly woman at McDonald's instead of just running in, and my mom spent the next 17 days acting as if I won the Nobel Peace Prize. Right? I can't show you that, but I think about ROI in a lot of places. Look, return on investment. First of all, I believe that in the digital world, people are confused. They may say Google's working, but what they don't realize was it was a video on Facebook that made somebody search for you on Google and then click that ad. Was that Google? No, it wasn't. Google's the toll booth of society, and it gets credit for driving your business way more than it actually does it, right? ROI, I think people do a lot of things for the value of it today instead of 23 years from now. I'm not doing this interview right now for the value of your viewership today. I'm doing it for the fact that it's in an ecosystem that I'm not as involved with, and maybe 13 years from now, something of somebody learning about me today brings me value. And even better, I'm not even worried about cashing in on that chip. Bottom line is, we live in a world where 99% of people are running a sprint, and the reality is that life's a marathon. And that's that.
Yeah.
And so when I think about ROI, I think of it in short and long term. I need some things to get by, right? On a day-to-day basis. I need money from clients to pay for my employees. Like, I gotta pay rent, I gotta run a P&L. But the amount of people that draw lines in the sand, spec work. I'm not gonna cut this person's hair for free, even though they're famous or important, this and that. It's the stupidest thing of all time. That word of mouth could be exponential to the growth of your business. But people draw religious lines in the sand on ideological notions that destroy the upside of their long term.
Love that. Your book, because we're actually, I think, we gave a copy to everyone that's coming to the Ideal
Thank you.
event. And this is I think your third?
Are we talking about Ask Gary Vee?
Yeah.
My fourth.
Your fourth.
My fourth New York Times best-selling book.
And
By the way, that was for all my English teachers that gave me D's and F's,
Right.
because they are spinning right now, like, how the fuck did that happen?
he writes? Right.
Barely.
Can you just kind of give us the highlights of the book? Because obviously for hairdressers, we would love for them to go and buy the book and get it and kind of start educating.
I mean, it's the state of the union of marketing and entrepreneurship and operations, and my state of the union. I do a YouTube show called Ask Gary Vee. I take questions from social media and I just answer them, and you know, there's chapters on parenting while being somebody who's super ambitious, and there's questions on tactics on Pinterest to drive a transaction. So it's an all-encompassing state of the union of the things that have made me successful and the things that have made people want to follow me. But the most encompassing, the other 3 books were very, very business driven. There was a lot more EQ, leadership, you know, dealing with stress. It was a very more rounded, and look, I mean, we all know this, right? As hot shot as I thought I was at 25, I'm a much stronger, better version of myself at 40. Experience actually matters, it's real. And I feel like I'm becoming more in tune and tapping into some of the subtleties that have made me successful other than the black and white tactics. And by the way, when I say successful, I'm gonna recall it, because it's important. I make money, I could make a lot more money if I was willing to be less successful. When I mean successful, I mean the balance of being more proud about how you make your money than how much you make. On the balance of being more worried about your legacy than your currency. On the balance of like thinking about what your grandkids are gonna think of you, and most of all, the number one way I run my life, how many people can I guilt into coming to my funeral?
That's what you're thinking about.
That is the number one way that I live my life. If you ask me what my global North Star is, my entire game is predicated on how many people show up to my funeral. Because showing up to funerals actually, and it's interesting, I no longer like the Yankees and the Rangers. I'm going in a little bit of an interesting direction.
Good. I'm liking this.
Because both of those teams won championships for me. So now I obsess over the Knicks and the Jets. I love the climb. I love the journey. And it was interesting, when I thought about this, as this funeral thing started happening over the last 10 years, I was like, wait a minute, that's the ultimate journey. My whole life is this journey. The payoff is the funeral, and I don't even get to know how it plays out.
You're not even there.
I'm not even there. So I think it's fascinating. I've been fascinated by the funerals that I've gone to and the ones that I haven't as I've become more busy and travel. And it's really predicated on heart over brain or wallet or other things, right? And so, yeah, man.
That's deep.
I think so.
Gary, can you talk to the fact that millennials are, you know, it's just a generation and they understand efficiency naturally?
Yes.
Something that kind of just comes to them?
Yes.
And how older generations can easily adapt and thrive by doing so, because you're not a millennial.
Yeah, I think this millennial, even when you brought it up earlier, I think this millennial talk is whack.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you why. I have 600 or so, 500 of our 800 employees at VaynerMedia are under 28. And 25% of them only care about working all day and night and making as much money as possible. And then I know 48-year-olds that want work-life balance. And like stereotypes have truths, I respect that, but all of this is always a mindset. This is a mindset. This isn't how old you are. This is how you are wired. And I think that millennials have gotten a bad rap for their work ethic and for their audacity, and there's plenty of them. But there was plenty of those people 20 years ago too. We just didn't categorize them. I've run businesses for a long time. 20 years ago, long before there was millennials, there was plenty of 25-year-olds that came into my business that thought they should be running the company. That's a DNA trait. Right. You know, that is not an age thing. And so,
there's kind of this label that's been put.
On the older generation, let's call it 35 and above, there's a lot of excuses going around. Well, I didn't grow up with this stuff. No shit. You didn't grow up driving either, and you learned. We learn things. I think what happens is a lot of people are lazy and get tired and are burnt out and they don't want to put in the work. It blows my mind that everybody watching here isn't willing to watch or read for 20 hours about Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, these platforms that are the relevancy of our society. Like, you can literally watch 20 hours of YouTube videos on how do I run Facebook ads, how to make creative, you just type it in and you now know, especially if you actually do it while you not just read it. And so literally, I don't know, in a week, anybody in the world that has capacity to learn, it's more about understanding how you learn. Do you need to listen? Do you need to watch? Do you need to read? Can actually be very strong at all this stuff. The punchline is, people like excuses. People don't want to put in the work. That's fine. More for me.
The concept of fast follower.
Yes.
Can you talk to that?
Yeah, I think fast follower is a good model. Like you see something that's successful, just moving quickly and trying to learn from those behaviors is very, very interesting. Lyft's a very big business. They didn't invent Lyft. They saw Uber and they're like, I don't know, we don't think Uber's gonna get everything. Google saw Yahoo. They didn't invent, Facebook. Do you remember MySpace? Like fast following is good.
Gary,
yes.
We've only got a couple minutes. So
yes.
I'm kind of prioritizing my list of 7,000 questions.
Please.
What is your definition of wisdom?
I'm not sure.
Okay, moving on. Do you collect anything?
Do I collect anything?
I
yes.
saw something, so that's why I asked you the question.
I used to collect a lot of things, but I always bought things just to sell them. As a matter of fact, I'm in a really bad mood because it looks like it's gonna rain tomorrow, and I can't take my kids garage sailing. And like buying something for 25 cents at a garage sale and selling it for $4.80 on eBay gives me a bigger high than landing a $5 million account.
And I just want to stop on that for 1 second. I don't think people realize that he's not joking.
The thrill of the hunt.
But you actually do that.
I did it last weekend.
He buys stuff.
There's a lot of people, I get a lot of emails from people who are like, I'm on welfare, I'm homeless. I get emails, I'm homeless. I'm a single mom with 4 kids. A lot of people, not my Silicon Fancy friends are not emailing me. These are a lot of people that are watching my content some way, somehow, who $100 a week is life-changing. I know this may sound very weird, but going to garage sales, spending $3 and making $100 on eBay is stunningly practical. If you have a smartphone, which unbelievably, people that are homeless on welfare do. Everybody has one. No matter what your financial situation is, it seems that almost everybody has gotten to a place where they have a smartphone, which is incredible and is maybe the most optimistic thing I know on life. This can happen. And so last weekend, I just did what I always do, which is I showed people. By the way, it was a great weekend. By the way, one crazy thing, stuffed animals.
That's what you mentioned.
Yeah, stuffed animals. Here's why. They're at every garage sale. And consistently they're 50 cents or $1, and consistently they're $10 to $20 on eBay. If you know what to look for. Disney Store exclusives.
That's where it's at?
That's a good one. Oh. But and by the way, and D-Rock, you know this, you have to understand, here's the payoff for me. It's Friday, this happened Saturday. 25 emails already.
So you're constantly selling toys and stuff online? Not
constantly, I'm hot on it right now. I did it. But you know what? You know what I collect? I collect people for sure at some level. I love people. Boy, do I really like people. And in all our flaws, and I really understand it.
Stay with you too, right?
Yeah, I have great retention. But even if they don't, I just genuinely like people. I understand people. It's what I understand innately the best. And I have a lot of empathy, a lot. And I really want to talk about real shit, right? I want to talk about you know how everybody's like, don't be scared, go do it. No. It was about who are you scared to?
Yes.
Then you get people, I want to go that one step that I think a lot of people, you know what's funny? The world is very interesting. People that were born with the gift that I was born with, which is understanding people, are unfortunately not born with the same other trait that I have, which is they use that to their leverage, to their financial benefit. The thing that I'm most proud of and why I believe a lot of people will show up to my funeral is when you have what I have, you usually sell it. I'm giving it away for free. And that's a big deal. And that's why most people don't talk about that next step, because that's the thing they get paid $35,000 a month for when they coach you or life coach you or when you go to their island or this, that, and the other thing. Got it?